Rob on there?
Yeah, it's this thing here.
Oh, there he is. Okay, so Rob,
It's updated as the day.
Mm-hmm.
how you looking, Rob, to hit those goals this month?
It's gonna definitely happen. We got, our base, we're shooting for 35,000 points this month, and with everything that's in the pipeline, I'm pretty certain it'll happen. There is one big rollover there that's worth 20,000 points, but I think that'll probably happen before November. Nationwide's just waiting on the money now, so it's already been set up and done. So I think that's 20,000 points, just that one rollover. But there's other, other business in the pipeline that we've got fairly well nailed down.
Cool, right on.
Yeah.
And recruiting wise, you're looking at 2 personal, how's that coming?
Just so everybody knows, I didn't bring it up because my numbers were kind of sucked this week, but we as a team made a decision on Wednesday night that I got about 4 guys I think that are bought in with me. I don't think the whole team bought in, which you never get, but we're focused on 2 prospects a day, and we're going to do that for an entire month, for 30 days, two prospects a day. And as that happens, of course, you'll get 40 new names and numbers, and out of 40 new names and numbers, I just asked them, do you think out of 40 new names and numbers you can recruit 2 of them? And I think in most people's mind, that sounds pretty reasonable. It's like almost a shoe-in. If you got 40 that you're working with, can you get 2 of them? And so that's where we're focused right now. And so I had 6 prospects this week, which doesn't show great on the board, but we just started that on Thursday morning. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I got my 2 each day and just leading from the front. So I think to answer your question, I think 2 personal recruits in a rolling 30 from the 15th to the 15th is definitely going to happen.
Cool, right on. Rocky, how's it looking?
I got 1, possibly 2 coming Wednesday for recruits, and so that should happen. 8,000 points, I'm behind on that, but I've got clients that I'm working on to get close for that. I think I'll get 4 families. I'll probably get at least 2, but I mean, I'll keep working, shooting hard towards a 4.
Cool. All right. Who do we have on the line? Chris, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you looking for your goals? You had 3 families helped, 10,000 points, and 1 recruit. How's that looking?
Well, working hard on it. Certainly have the prospects there, just getting them down to appointments. So there's nothing in the pipeline at this point as far as something that I've written, but working toward that.
Okay. Do you have any prospective guests for this week?
Nothing committed. I've invited a couple, but I haven't gotten a solid commitment out of them.
Okay. So that might be something to focus on, is seeing what you can get that way. All right, Don.
It won't count for my points, it will count for Jace. I'll close on Wednesday, the SGI roller. I'm still waiting to get appointed in Georgia. It's a pain, I gotta go, we have to go to the bank and get sign a paper with the notary to finish it up. But we still should be able to get it done, hopefully, but I don't know if the points will show up in November. That's like 4,000 points. And then I have a small, IUL, that's like 1,000 points still, and I have 1 guess confirmed for Wednesday. And there's not much on the recruit side.
Okay. Jace?
So the 1 recruit that I was looking to get, he's pushed back about wanting to do it later, probably not looking into it more seriously at the beginning of the year. regardless, like I said earlier this month, got a good stack of new prospects, some of which expressed interest in the business, so I'm still trying to contact those. So there's some good potential there. As far as the points are concerned, I've done a couple of F&As this month already, so if we can get those nailed down as far as doing that, most of it's rollover, so I don't know if it's gonna show this month, but we're looking at $120,000 rollover and then a potential additional SGI account aside from the one that Don mentioned, which will be about $300,000.
Nice. That's good. Well, my experience in the business is, if you're consistently out doing one-on-ones, the rollovers will come into play. And then if you keep doing the one-on-ones, the rollovers that you met last month and the month before will count for this month. And, that stuff will just steadily come in. So that's the key is consistency. John, how you looking?
Last week was a wash. I can report that we protected our newborn granddaughter from the hand, foot, and mouth.
Nice.
Spent the whole week helping with that mess, so I hope we'll be able to get to some real stuff this week.
Nice. Okay.
So.
Anyone else on the phone?
Brent here.
Hey, Brent. There you is. We asked for you earlier. We must have missed you.
Oh, sorry.
How's your month looking, Brent?
Well, I got a lot of good prospects here. I just turned them into one-on-one appointments and stuff. I was looking to get a recruit and 6,000 points company, a couple of families. People have been busy, but anyway, you can move into those, get those one-on-ones, so nothing right now in the pipeline.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic to have some good prospects. That's a good start in the right direction.
Can I throw something in?
Yeah.
Hey, I think, Brent said something that just kind of triggered in my mind where he said, people have been kind of busy. And I just think in my own mind, it's like, people are as busy as you tell them they are. What I mean by that is a sense of urgency is critical, especially at this time of the year. And, as I'm talking to people, it's just, we're looking for a couple of people this week. It's gonna be, it's happening within the next 2 or 3 days. And the more you guys will put in a sense of urgency, either in your tone, in your body language, or both, the more people will respond to that. And if you think it's a busy time of the year and people are going to be busy, and this isn't meant at all to beat on Brent, but it just kind of clicked in my head when he said people are busy. It's like, well, they're as busy as you tell them that they're going to be, because you're the one that's in control of that. And if you're quote unquote hiring somebody right now, you're hiring within the next 2 or 3 days, then it doesn't really matter what they got going on. If they want that opportunity, they got to respond within 2 or 3 days. And so it's really in your control as to how busy people are. And yeah, there's some things you can't control, but what is inside of your circle of control is how urgent you talk to people and the tone that you're using, and just your body language alone. It's a game changer for those that will change that one little mechanism in your presentation or in the way you communicate with people. So it is the holidays, but I think people, you can control how busy people are just by how you are when you're talking to them.
Yeah. Well, and as Rob says that, let me just tell you that, almost everything we do is a learned behavior or a learned mindset. And so you might hear Rob say that, and there might be a disconnect. You might just, by a disconnect, you might have a hard time wrapping your head around that. You hear that statement and go, okay, I think that's true, that sounds like it should be true, but I don't know how to do that. And, you know, there's some things that, as you just persist in doing what you can and what you know, you're going to become more and more comfortable with the fundamentals. And then what'll happen is someday, whether it's weeks from now or a couple months from now or whatever it is, at some point, you do enough consistently that, and I've said this before, but what's happening is there are certain skills and mindsets and abilities that you are constantly, developing. And at some point, you're going to put enough of those things behind you that statement's made and you go, okay, I think I know what he's saying. And I think I can make this adjustment. You know, it's just like anything else. You just get ready to hear those things. And it's just, our minds. I've said this in a couple of trainings over the last 7 days that our fears are liars. Our emotions are liars. There's just, we just get fixed on where we're at and what we know, and we find evidence to support that. Or we listen and pay attention, and we start to find evidence that might oppose our past beliefs. And it's kind of just life in general, it's just the way it is. Whatever we believe to be the case, we're going to find evidence to support, that belief. And so what I would say is you can develop, you can grow, you are developing right now. Whether you feel like you're kind of stagnant or not, you are moving in a forward direction. And so as long as you stay focused, you stay committed, you try to increase your activity. Now the more consistent your activity is, the much easier it is to develop those new skills, those new learned behaviors, skill sets, and mentalities. The less time there is in between swinging the bat, the less you're going to learn. So the more often you get up and you swing, the easier it is to kind of get a feel for what's happening there and be mindful of what's taking place. So I would say, some of these things that sound like they're still out there ways, keep working on them, keep focusing. I've learned that in my own career. I've talked about this a couple times too in the last week or so in different settings, but I remember very clearly when prospecting was very uncomfortable and scary, when I felt very clumsy with it, and how often it was embarrassing, because you put your foot in your mouth, you just say something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and you kind of walk away from it like, what the frick did I just say, So I remember that clearly, and I still kind of have a feel for the awkwardness of that whole thing. But now I can tell you that I actually enjoy it. I think it's fun to meet new people, and I know that I have the ability to share something with them that could change their life, whether it be from a consumer or an opportunity standpoint. So anything that you persist in doing, you're just going to get better at. And again, as you've heard before, that thing doesn't change. So new people will come in, and for them, it's going to be above them for a period of time. But your ability to do it will improve, right? And so that's just the way life is in general. And one of the ways that I've always looked at the business was, if I'm here to learn and grow and master self, then what suits me best in terms of my all-around journey is to be in an environment from a work standpoint that also encourages me to learn and grow and develop and master self, right? But I think it's kind of, tragic, honestly, to watch so many people out there that have jobs that don't really challenge them, don't give them the ability to master themselves and to learn self-discipline. I mean, you know, and so they waste the lion's share of their existence is in an environment that really goes contrary to personal development. And so the more frustrated you are, probably the better the environment you're in for your all-around future growth. Anyone frustrated? So good, you're doing it then.
So is R2D2.
Yeah, so is whoever's on the phone making a ton of noise.
Well, I think you nailed it there, Michael, because it's when you no longer will tolerate, that's when you decide to make a decision, or, I know it sounds redundant, but that's when you decide to make a decision. But when you won't tolerate it anymore, it's like, okay. Or when you've hit rock bottom, so to speak, as we've talked about a lot, that's when people make that decision.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, and that's just the way we are. We won't make necessary adjustments until it's uncomfortable and maybe painful. If it's not, and we're comfortable and everything's okay, then there's no need to make adjustments. So the more you go out there and you push and you get consistent with what you're doing, the better it's going to be, you know, quicker. So, so I would just encourage you to focus on the main stuff, and that is how many new people can I get in front of this week and tell our story to? And then the second step is how many of them can I get out to the financial workshop? And just keep it simple. Those two things will aim you in the right direction, and good things will come of that. Make sense?
Hey, Michael,
Yep.
Louis,
Hi, Luis, how are you?
good. Now, I'm gonna give you my number, so,
Okay.
so me and Carla just wrote her first application, matchup. We did this Friday. We rolled 5,500 points.
Nice.
And we're working on a couple of recruits, hopefully by the end of the month. Well, I'm trying to get her 230. So we're working on that, and then I have a couple of rollovers. I don't know if they're going to hit for this month. They're both new Summit Global. So I submitted the application. I'm just waiting to get everything finalized.
Nice. What is your goal for the month as far as points?
About 10,000.
Okay. And personal recruits?
2.
2. How many families are you going to try to help total?
4.
Okay. Cool.
I have 4 already, but 4 separate people, but I'm trying to do 4 separate.
Nice. Well, good job, Luis. That's good, man. Lots of good stuff going on. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's another example. I mean, what many of you are missing right now is a recruit. And here, Luis talks about being out and writing up 5,500 points. Well, where did that come from?
For the matchup.
It came from matchup. It came from somebody else's market. And he's helping her to get the 230 done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to solve a ton of problems. You get one person on board that's excited to do what we do, and game on, you know. So, so again, it goes back to how many new people can I get in front of? How many of them can I get out to the workshop? And just keep it simple. Try not to overcomplicate it with too much else. Just have that be the main focus. All right.
Yeah,
Yes,
that makes perfect sense.
Okay. Well, it's good to see everyone. We'll go ahead and wrap that up and have a great week.
Awesome, thanks, brother.